Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session.
I can make sure I've got no man boobs showing.
Oh yeah.
You've got no man boobs. You look really healthy, man. You look the healthiest I've seen you. Are you stopped drinking or?
Kind of. Like the whole fact that I'm not going out to gigs every single day of the week.
That's got to help.
Helping a lot. Yeah.
So, welcome to the Old Farm Bus Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Today I've got a really good friend. I've known you for years, I think. I've known you for about 5 or 6 years.
It's been a while.
And it's been one of them like where it's constantly like intertwined. You've done your thing, I've done mine. But I knew your brother.
Yeah.
For so long as well, doing something totally different in the football scene. And because you got your second name's Smith, so you know I know a few Smiths. And I was just like chatting to him, took him to a football match one day. Codner boys, just a shout out to the old Codner lads. And he was just talking to me. He's like, I didn't know you did poetry. And he was like, yeah, wicked. He's like, you might know my brother. And I was like, who's that? And he went, Ben Mark Smith. And I was like, oh my God, I love that guy. He's like the nicest guy I've met. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for this? You know who it is now, but I've got on with me Ben Mark Smith.
Legend.
I'm so sorry there's no clapping or out, mate. There will be one day. I need to press a button and just have a woo.
Little secret. Yeah, man. No, I'm really, really happy to be here. It's really cool.
Thank you for coming, man. Is this your first time on the bus?
It is. Yeah. I was saying earlier that obviously I've seen all the events and I've watched the podcasts and what have you, and but I've never come down to the actual thing, so I need to.
You're very much on one of my lists. I've got many a list somewhere, and you've been on the podcast list, and we've ticked that. You're on the busking list, so I can't wait to get that. Can I sign that contract now, please?
Definitely, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not that professional, but
chuck me a pen.
Yeah.
So Ben, you do so many things. Like you probably perform more than anybody I know. Like I always logging into social media before coronavirus days.
Yeah.
And you're always gigging. You're putting on events. You like one of the best gigs I've ever been to was an event you put up called the Songwriter Sessions.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
It really was amazing. You just seem like you're active all the time. And then we've been hit with COVID. Where you at now, man? How you coping with it all?
So I do the music thing. Even though it seems like I do it full time because it's just relentless, I actually work full time at Nottingham Central Library. And
I didn't know you were somebody else.
Yeah, I know. I've got this Batman side, but because of obviously the virus, that's closed now, and thankfully I'm one of the lucky ones that they've carried on paying me. So,
amazing! No, that is lucky.
So it's kind of bad that I can't, play these gigs and I can't put on the events. Stop the DH Lawrence Festival flat, and it stopped the Songwriter Sessions flat. But on the positive side, it's kind of given me all this free time to work on the future ones. So we've got ideas. Well, I've got ideas for the festival next year and the Songwriter Sessions when they start up again. So it's good and it's bad at the same time.
I love people like you though that do silver line everything and go, this has happened, but I am the lucky one. I am being paid still. I've got stuff on the go, and I am an artist, so I'm still creating and doing bits and bobs that I wouldn't have had time for before. What sort of projects have you got on the go then?
So I've been with the Songwriter Sessions, seeing as we can't do it, live at City Arts where we were doing it before, which is an amazing venue. I know you came along to
honestly, man, it was something other. I didn't know what to expect, and I just showed up, but I'd never been presented. I opened the door, and it was just silence.
It's awkward, isn't it?
It's perfect. It's all I want from a night. I'm one to go to a music event to see music and to see an artist. I just want to listen to the lyrics, listen to them just express themselves, and I never really got that. I've went to so many gigs and I feel stupid, but I've got to go to people. Guys, will you just quiet down a little bit so I can hear this person. Like, you could go massive venues and they're like at the front talking.
Man, I've been to gigs at Rock City and people are doing that, and you're like, mate, what? We've both paid like 40 quid for this person. What are you doing? What are you playing at? Like,
a paid event, and you've just come to have a little chinwag with your mate about what they've been up to for the week. It doesn't make sense. I really don't want to be that like naysayer. But when it's a paid event, you know, you expect a certain moral and a code of conduct, don't you?
Yeah, and it's kind of like an appreciation for the artist and showing a bit of like respect and stuff as well. And you know, so sometimes you want to talk about the song or whatever. You can do that between the song. You don't have to shout over the flaming person. But yeah, that the City Arts place seems to like, maybe not even necessarily the event itself. It's just City Arts, like just makes that like atmosphere. Every single gig that I've been to there, just everybody's silent and really listening. I think it's like, you're quite close to the stage, aren't you? So it's maybe the fact that you're really close.
The venue's important. Definitely, you picked a great venue. How did that come about, finding that venue? Because it's a great spot.
Yeah. I played a gig. There's a lad called Cameron Sinclair Harris from Nottingham, and he was doing a kind of like big fine owl gig. He was like not doing the acoustic thing anymore. Now I think he does it again, like a year later or whatever. But
artist's sake.
Yeah, I know. But he was doing that there, and he asked me to support him, and so I went to it. I didn't have any expectations because I'd never been there before either, and I just absolutely loved it. One of my favourite gigs. Like again, everybody just listened to like every single word. I have my kind of like louder, upbeat kind of songs, but I have some really like slow, depressing, really depressing
Never
songs.
label them as depressing, man.
No.
They're just beautiful and expressive.
Yeah, that's how I should explain it. But I never get to play them because I'm always playing like loud places.
Yeah.
So it finally got me this opportunity to to play these songs, and I was like, after that gig, I was like, I need to do stuff here. I put on a gig immediately after that had like Rory Cannon and Tory Sheridan.
Awesome. You get some lineups, man.
Mate,
people must just really like you as like a personality as well, because they play for people, don't they, a lot of the time?
I think so, yeah. Like
I can see why. Like, I'm not. I don't mean to say that in a shot way. Like, people must really like you. I mean, I don't know what it is.
Not everybody. I'll wind some people up. But yeah, I definitely think that. Like, I feel like you've got like kind of a few different types of gigs, and it's like the ones you do for money, the ones you do because of like the audience you may get or the person you support. I'm gonna do this.
You're having a boxing match with that microphone. I love it though, because you're so expressive, like me when you talk. I've just learnt the ways of where it is. I'm like a ninja around it now.
But then there's the gigs that you kind of just do it because it's your mate, and you just want to like help your mate out and make sure that he does the best. He has the best event.
And as an artist, to tackle all them gigs, you're just going to develop in so many ways, because when you're doing the loud gigs, like you say, you've got to handpick your set list to match that. I've been in like a venue before, and I was in Wakefield supporting a poet, Taria Garbutt, she supports like John Cooper Clarke now, and like she's really good and doing a thing. And it was at the start of my journey, and I was just in this room, and there was a bit like beer being thrown about, and I was like, okay. And I just in that second changed my set list to match it, and it was a great lesson for me because it did work. And if I was to go in with that sort of like very depressing, we'll say like more expressive side of myself, I don't think people would have joined in that way. Like, will you get off stage and let Turia come on and do her bits and bobs, because she's very fast paced. So I was like, let's fast pace it, and then again going to other places where it is just beautiful silence, calm. You can really handpick that and think about what you're doing.
Make it work for you,
so it's
wherever you are.
Totally growing you as an artist in all settings and being conscious of that.
No, definitely.
I've known artists before just be like, nope, this is me, this is what I do, bam.
Oh, man, I've like we say, I put on like a lot of gigs, and there's some like acts that are just it's that ego thing, and they're like.
I know somebody shouting like "fuck you" in the middle of a day to a bunch of like 13-year-olds.
Really?
Yeah, I swear. I won't go into the full story because I
Yeah.
don't want it like to come out or be heard or
No,
be said
no.
too much. But I was quite surprised.
would be,
I'm
wouldn't
also a bit one for carnage and I like a bit of chaos. So there's a whole side of myself that's loving it and respecting it. But I did have to sit and go, really?
Yeah.
Like, are we doing this?
Yeah, and there's sometimes where like you can't like blame the audience. Like, as we were saying, when it's a ticketed gig and it's when you go into Rock City and stuff and people are talking over the top, then it's like, what are you doing? But sometimes you've been asked to play a gig in a pub or something where it's just a general pub. It's not ticketed.
Yeah.
Like those people didn't know it was on. Because half the time,
that
local pubs don't promote
such an
music
important
at
thing
all.
to say. This, yeah.
So it's those people have gone to the pub to have a pint and have a chat and stuff, and you just happen to be there.
You can't
you can't
expect
kick off at them because
a standing ovation when they've just gone to see the best mate.
Yeah. But if you manage to do that, which I've seen a lot of people do, then
winning
that's
all round,
amazing.
innit?
Mate, I did. I ran a stage at Dot to Dot like three years ago.
Awesome. I love that festival.
Oh, it's lovely. I'm gutted.
Yeah.
But I ran a stage at the Langtrees, and it was a free stage. I don't even know why they had it on, to be fair, because it was like all the other stages were Hockley and everything, and then there was just Langtrees had like
pop over there,
yeah.
give them a say.
But it sorted out a proper good like lineup for it, and it was just full of like big blokes that I think like rugby or something had been on as well, and they were not having
Sunday afternoon, just had a morning match.
Yeah, but do you know Kate Auburn at all?
Yes, yeah.
Kate Auburn like played, and she's quite like quiet and delicate and folky
Brittle
and
music, isn't it?
Yeah, and all of those blokes just shut up.
Oh.
They just like went silent, and I've never seen it.
Love
like
Shivers,
that.
man.
She's just like so good, so like her voice is so pure, and it's amazing that like that whole room just silenced for her, which is like
there's something deep rooted in that, isn't
Yeah.
there? I can't really be explained. Whatever that vibe, whatever that thing that humans are experiencing.
Yeah.
But when pure beauty or something just pure is being done, everybody stops in time. Everybody looks around and goes, no, like, it doesn't matter how rude you are or what you are as a person. They just say, no, this is a moment to respect.
I need to like
I'm in.
appreciate this.
Yeah. Man, them moments as well. If you've ever been in that moment, you know exactly what we're talking about, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what drew you to music then? Is that what made you feel so passionate about what you do?
Definitely, like it's 100%. It's those moments where it just clicks, and it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's like gone really quiet in a room. It might just be that someone's come over and said that your song like really meant something to you, like after, or even stuff like I used to do a few cover gigs at pubs and stuff, and I'd play one in Kimberley, in like a bit of a like rough pub.
I know the area.
Yeah, didn't like kind of. It wasn't my crowd or anything. I was just meant to be doing cover stuff. Ended up doing like a few of my originals, and some of the ruffians, some of the really like ended up like chirping up.
The
a
ready
bit.
to go as we like to call them round here.
But I like to like have a go as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets me in trouble, and sometimes it works. Where they were like, "Oh, this is quite funny." Like I appreciate it. It was similar to what Kane was saying in his podcast, where it's
Ashmore.
where he talks to the kids.
Yep.
How they talk to each other.
Yeah.
And
mimicking their
and
language.
It doesn't put this like this teacher, this
Pedestal.
what you imagine a teacher vibe to be. He talks to them how they talk, and it kind of has this like respect kind of thing. And I feel like that had that, and when you're just having banter with a bunch of lads
that's the key.
In a rough pub in Kimberley, and you manage to win. If you manage to win them over at the end of the gig, like, oh man. So it's it can be
I want to get into that story actually, and that's something interesting about you though, because I knew you through music only, and I'd seen you like when I first began, and I think we may have started at a similar time.
Possibly, yeah, probably.
Seems like a very similar standing point with music.
Yeah.
So I was just very unaware, naive, didn't know what was going on, but I was like, you're nice, you're cool, enjoying that. Maybe not hang out there. you know your peoples, you know your places. And I really liked you. But you seemed like somebody that had that like just calm, relaxed side. To know your brother, just gotta say, like, to know your brother Rob, who like, because I've got that other fiery side that a lot of people don't expect, and they're like, what? You do what? And boxing or whatever. Yeah. And yeah, me and Rob were on the same side of the pitch together, and we'd be just like causing like chaos down there. We'd be like double footering and just like, Rob, get him, smash it. And then when he said like you were brothers, I just couldn't put it together. It just didn't go. But now you've said that story and you have got that side to you, I guess that's really helped you in like being a performer and growing up with them brothers that sort of like bash you about a bit. Can you talk about that in any way?
I suppose it's from like where we like lived and grew up and what have you. And I'm not.
Is it Hina?
Yeah, I didn't grow up in like the Seans or whatever. But like,
it's enough.
But it's not like not city centre and that sort of thing. So it's funny that I've got into this kind of like not scene now.
Creative scene in general, I think, man. Like to blossom from these areas. Yeah. It's just not so known. For me, I don't know, Ripley and Hina and Ilkeston and these places, you sort of just do what everyone around you does, and that's the known thing. And I love seeing seeds blossom and grow and be like, how did you do it?
Go off and doing other things, yeah, exactly. But I'm glad that I've like kind of kept my Hina-ness, like roots still, because it kind of. I think it comes out most when I'm on like a night out and stuff. When I'm just down in pints and singing stupid things and getting in arguments.
Do you do that in the scene? You've been in a few nights out. I do see like, because again, that's the thing. I had to stop for myself. It was just detrimenting my health too much. I was struggling mentally, physically, and it's a side of me that I'm not really about letting my health slip too much. I can just feel it, sense it. I'm like, no, get back on track. But it is a scene, like the creative scene, the music scene, where it's so easy to slip. It's so easy to go there. How do you balance that out? Or don't you? You just fucking get on it.
Don't, mate. I don't.
But I'm wilder over here.
That's what I need to. I need to like work out a way of still going out to the gigs and stuff. Yeah. But trying to be a bit sensible, because with like Nottingham, say you've got like the Bunk open mic and Rescue Room open mic on Monday. You've got Pepper Rocks and Six Barrels on Tuesday. You've got Jam Cafe on Wednesday. You've got like, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's gigs on that you can go to. So you can literally
every night is a possibility, isn't it?
It's just mental places to go to every single night. And normally, all of the like scenes out, like obviously Miles Knight and Jack Savio and what have you are running these nights. So this lads out and it's like.
One turns into two, turns into five quickly, doesn't it?
When you get out, like the amount of times I've gone out and I've gone like, right, I'm gonna have one. I'm gonna have one tonight, and then you get to Acoustic Rooms and it's £2 a pint, happy hour or whatever. If I have 5, then it's
the
only 10.
Hina boy comes out then. That's where you're like, damn,
Yeah.
I've got that other side to me that I'm on about.
I've got a pint head on my head.
How does that then affect your performance, affect your music? I mean, it gives you stories, so your lyrics come out pretty interesting. Like your song that's done really well, the Tinder song.
Yeah.
What is it? What's it called? Sorry.
Who's the girl?
Yeah, man. That just went bluff. It's great as an artist, isn't it? Because you can't really expect what's gonna blow up or not. I listened to Oasis talking the other day. I think it was someone. They were talking about Wonderwall.
Okay.
And they were just like, we just create songs, and then one day Wonderwall just gets blown up, and we never expect that. We don't know what's gonna come out and be the one.
No.
Did you expect that with that song when you were writing it?
I thought when I'd done it, I thought this is like.
A banger.
This is like a decent. This sound like dead aggro.
You can, man. Like, sometimes you're allowed to. What's the word? Acknowledge when you've done something cool. I think that's cool as an artist, because when people like, which I really do as well, struggle with a compliment, it's like you've got to get to that level, haven't you? Where you're like, you know what? I'm doing cool. I'm doing good, and you really are, man. You're doing your thing.
Well, yeah, thank you. I think that with that one, I thought it was a good song. I didn't expect like it to do as well as it did, and I think the reason, and it's done, even though like girls, like it as well. I think it's mainly like the lads that like it, and it's kind of like the emotional side. Even though they won't say it, it's like the emotional side of them coming out. Because if you don't know, the song's about like. Meeting this girl like a couple of years ago, and then it's about like the relationship and then the end of it. So it's like a full little story of this relationship, and it's kind of like obvious at the end that I wasn't over it, and it was kind of this whole like the one that got away vibe. And I think every guy's either got that or managed to get that girl. So so I think it's the guys that maybe like have that experience kind of really
beautiful thing for me with music, and especially guys can like, we don't always want to talk to each other too much on a deep level and really dive into it. After parties and you're speaking to like a female, and they can really like delve into all their emotions that they've been through, and then you start doing that with a guy, and he's like, "Are you coming on to me?" Like, hang on a minute, I've had it before, and I'm like, no, I just really like talking about other things than tits at times. But there is that side of what I suppose you call it toxic masculinity, and I've experienced a lot, especially around these areas.
Oh mate, around it.
So they can all like. You're giving them messages in songs, and they can actually listen, feel something, and be like, oh, like, he is talking to me. And I've had friends before, like, who would never in a million years, like, come and have a chat with me, sit down on the sofa, and let's go through all of our emotions. But when I've put a song out or a poem and about depression, about X, Y, and Z, I got one in particular. Nick McCann played the main role in this film I did. It was all about depression, and it's this guy goes through his day, and he's just doing a mundane life. It's called Monday Monday.
Yeah.
And Nick did the guitar for it, but it told this story about a man's story, and it's so many of my friends I was relating it to. It wasn't just me that I've been through it, but all the friends in my past that I knew, I was like, this is for you lot. And I was so happy when quite a few of them got back to me and said, mate, that was lovely, or that touched me. And I would never do that before, but I'd bought a piece of art out and expressed it there, and they got time to process it and think about it. It's not an overt, it's just a subtle way of doing it, and that's why I love creativity and music.
It touches something inside them, and it makes them feel like you've made the the first step.
Yes,
rather
yeah,
than
that's a
them making
beautiful
the
way
first
of putting
step.
it, man. That's a beautiful. The first guy that did it to me, I remember that crush, is somebody we've got in common of loving, but a bit Mike Skinner.
Legend, absolutely.
Man, honestly, I've told a story loads, so I won't go into the breakup, but I do like to touch on it sometimes because it's like, men, we can get through these times. If you're struggling now, we've got you. But flipping heck, when I heard Dry Your Eyes, mate, and every single, which is what you're doing to people with that song, every word is just yep, and you just keep going until you're in floods of tears. It's like, man, that's music. So hearing somebody like that, and you're like, I want to kind of speak to people on that sort of level. I've never imagined it before.
Yeah,
it's such an inspiration.
Let's just talk about Mike Skinner for a while.
Yeah, man, jump in. I think I'm equipped. Yeah. I know where I'm at.
It's that. It's what I love about like my main influences are people like Will Varley and old Alex Turner, old Arctic Monkeys, and rappers like Rakim and Tupac and what have you. Is that kind of really descriptive, like songwriting, where he's literally like, and it's really descriptive, where he's talking about actual situations and exactly what kind of happened and all that sort of stuff, and it's relatable as well. So like the streets, especially like Fit But You Know It and Don't Mug Yourself and all that, it's like literally like a night out down the clubs and stuff that you can relate to. Like, so that's one.
And it's that like being able to relate, but also some stuff is just bouncy. Lyrics are kind of on a I don't want to say the word trivial, but like just a one level.
Yeah.
But with his, even when he's talking about something as simple as pulling a girl, I'm so involved in it and on it because it's how he describes it. He's must have been like, it's either his gift or he's been on some crazy creative writing courses. But yeah, you can be in that situation with him. You can imagine everything he's saying. And again, Jamie T's another good one example for me. But it's storytelling at its core, and some people, Tupac, can just fully engross you in. Sorry, I just flicked this back on. There he is. They just fully engross you in their stories.
Totally. Like you say, from like Jamie T and Mike Skinner or whatever, it 100% comes from like rap. It comes from like NWA and KRS-One and all these kind of guys that kind of started that like storytelling, and they've just somehow put it into like acoustic music and what do you call the streets? I don't know what it goes from, like reggae to grime to
rap. Yeah, I mean, I've read his autobiography, and it's one of the few books I've actually read on a plane home. And he's like, I'm not a rapper, but like Vice have put him in the top 3 rappers of all time. Yeah, and he really is. But he's a revolutionary rapper.
Yeah,
and he was the first to do it in that way. He was the first to be on offbeat. On a grime, like people. So Americans were rapping real, and the English culture was rapping like just smack talk. We call it like just like saying nothing in the lyrics. And he took the grime scene, which was popping in England, and went, I'll take that, but I'll also take the American like real talk and put it all in the concoction and like do that. And he really pioneered rap in that way, and spoken word rap, poetry, everything.
Did the streets start like after grime started?
He was in the grime scene heavily. It was like Dizzy Rascal days and so on like that.
Because I know he helped Kano out, didn't he?
Yeah, massively. All part of a similar clique and scene. And what was his first album? And that's the one that took off, isn't it? Original Pirate Material.
That's one of my favourite albums.
Just doesn't get better than that. And that was it. Everything changed. Again, I don't want to rehash the book too much because it was about 4 years ago when I read it. But hearing his tenacity and interest in like how music is pieced together, and it like take computers apart and just like wanted to know how things piece together, and did it with music. It's fascinating.
That which I've always loved. And I used to teach music at Derby College, and this is what I kind of used to teach the kids, was like this DIY attitude, and just like you're doing, and just like a bunch of the people that you've had on previous, just doing things for themselves, and that's where him and Lily Allen and Entishkari and all these guys started. It was like when social media began, they were all like putting their stuff on MySpace, recording in their houses, cause, you could now get Cubase or whatever. Remember reading something where like Mike Skinner was basically going in his cupboard and putting a mattress up against it to record his vocals and stuff, and it's amazing, because then all of these artists got to this point where they built Ed Sheeran had got to a point where he built this just gigantic fan base and this wealth of material before the record labels even came to him. And when they finally came to him, they were like, we want to sign you for this amount. It's like, well, what can you offer me? Because I'm already selling out like venues. Same with the Streets and same with Arctic Monkeys. I'm already selling out like all these places. So it's amazing. Do stuff for yourself, and then if you finally get that call for the record label, it's on your terms, and rather than...
It truly comes across in the music, in how they are as people. Yeah. You feel the most, honest discussions being had, in the lyrics, in the feel of it. I just, I'm reflecting to like Ed Sheeran even. I watched it recently, what's that channel on YouTube? SBTV.
Yeah, well, it's kind of started into
his first SBTV, and it's just him playing outside a little club with his guitar, just like, and you feel something there. And I'm listening to the lyrics, I'm like, he's really just somebody that loves it with every ounce of him. He's sat in his bedroom, he's got his pen out, you can picture it all. Yeah. And there are times now in the music scene where I felt the lack of realness come out and show, and it feels a bit saturated in areas then, and the lyrics come a bit contrived, and they're trying to tell stories they're not really living, and it's all social media and growing and having money and material and that side of things. And then hearing again real artists like yourself just sit there. Laurie Illingworth's a great one. There's so many nice people around where you're like, that you're telling your story at the minute, and I'm just fully in on it. Yeah. Mike Skinner was one of the... what was that other album as well? His concept album. A Grand Don't Come for Free.
Oh, yeah.
I was about 13 at the time, and that's my first... I didn't know what a concept album was, and I thought like he'd invented it. I was like telling me dad, I was like, Dad, he's told a whole story through a whole album. He's like, yeah, a lot of artists have done that.
Moon. Came out like 20 years before, 30 years before.
But I couldn't believe it. I was like, that is the most genius thing. Yeah. And every song on there, to have an album like that but everyone be like we say a banger, it's just ridiculous.
That's difficult now, isn't it? I was having this kind of thought about like singles and putting albums out, and the fact that people are now focusing on singles more than actually bothering to do albums because of this whole shuffle playlist. Like,
what's your feeling on that? Like,
I still
love an album.
I still love albums, and like original Pirate material, I have to kind of listen to the whole thing. I can't just like listen to one song. I have to listen to the whole thing. But I do understand it, because I have just started doing the same thing. Like, I've started making a few playlists that I get on the bus to go to work, and I just sit on it, and so it's kind of like half and half, where I creatively, annoyingly, I'm like stuck on this side where I'm like, I still love albums, but then financially, but like, I don't know how to explain it, but then there's this other side where I'm like, if I was sensible, it'd probably be like singles that you'd look to, because with singles, it's like you're just promoting one thing, and everybody's shooting to that one thing. Put an album out. I put an EP out like a while ago.
Can get a bit lost, can't it? Some of the songs, and your favourite songs as well. Your best ones. You're like, everyone's gone to that one. Yeah, God.
Exactly. Everyone's listened to the first 1.5. Yeah. And then they've got, even if it's a great album, like it happens. Like, you can put out Dark Side of the Moon or whatever, and people will still get bored halfway through, and the last half of the album gets like forgotten about.
It's like you, with an album, you're trying to give somebody a full experience, because as the artist, you got to think about the emotions you're giving out, the energy levels. I got Fat Freddy's Drop set list. I went to see their gig last year at Knott's Rock City. What a gig. But I got the set list and then I couldn't work it out, and I was like, oh, they've put all the BPMs next to it all.
Oh, really?
And then so they're really thinking about like how they're taking people on this journey. I just couldn't work it, and then I got so funny. I did it again. I went to see them again. Got to the front, got the set list. I've got them, but I'll show you in the house. I've got them framed. But there they just pick their certain chords, so and they're all like 7-minute songs, aren't they? But they're like AMG. I've never had to think like that before. I'm just picking my poetry set list, but that was quite interesting to me. I was like, oh, it's a journey with an album. It's a full experience. People just don't seem like they've got time anymore. They just want a quick fix.
It's
they want
rushing into it. It's just rushing to be like the next big thing. And it feels like there's so many artists now, because anybody can make a Facebook page or SoundCloud, or anybody. As I was talking to you about Amuse, the distribution site that's free. So you can literally, anybody can put the music on Spotify,
pump it out,
Apple,
which can be a great thing, but then it does get lost in. What do people want? The artists then panic, thinking, oh, I've got to bring stuff out. You've got to think of who you are as an artist, what you want. Saying just before the podcast, like, my road and journey now has altered quite significantly. You've seen I bring stuff out quite a lot, but because I love it, and if I don't have that on the go, I don't know what else to do.
No, I know what I mean.
I do a project, I go and do the film, then I get it out, and I think, right, that's done now. What do I do? Right, I'll get it out, move on, go. But it's also, I'm not thinking as a businessman in that sense, because I feel like I've enjoyed my time in that world, and now it's a passion project in essence.
Yeah, and I think those people end up like happier at the end as well, and you kind of get more. You get like, that's the way you get genuine fans, like when they can tell you really love it. I feel like I may be wrong, I don't know, but I play on like the small festival circuit like quite a bit, like festivals like A Up My Duck, and there's ones like Something to Smile About, and these festivals have kind of a regular turnaround of the same few musicians that everyone love, and they've never like gone massive.
Push.
But they still are trying to build an audience and stuff. But it's more about like treating like the fans right and doing the festivals that they want to, rather than making these whole like social media campaigns that reach as many people as possible and putting songs out at the perfect time. It's like they write songs that they truly like.
I tell you what, it's weird when you watch somebody go from hero to zero, or the other way around, zero to hero. I mean, they deserve it, but do you know the Rival Sons?
Oh, the Rival,
yeah, big. But my uncle just loves music, mad into music. Can't play anything, doesn't sing, doesn't do anything, but just loves it. Like the biggest fan. If you've got him on board, you'd be so happy as a band, because you're like, he does all the promotion for him, everything you can think of. He's just like, let me do everything. Goes all over the world and meets them. And I'm not claiming he discovered the Rival Sons, but he got them really early on in the day, like so early, and he just play in front of maybe 50 people max, maybe like 30, 50, and it's in Peterborough this, and he goes to the pub with him with his other mate, and they're bit pissheads, and they're just having the best time ever. And it's about 2 years on, and they've just smashed it. They've gone and done their thing, got really big. And now my uncle took me and my dad for the first time to go and see him, and it was Rock City, big event. And he's like, I'll let you meet him and all this. And they were just ghosting him like all the time. And then the moment came, and the lead singer was actually outside, and my uncle was like, hey, I can't remember his name, but he's like, go see him. And fuck, it was horrible. Just fully blanked him. They were like with a group of girls anyway and all that, and I was like, bless that. That's not nice. No, that's not cool.
Because they've not forgotten that person. You
Oh
don't
no,
forget
they
a
definitely did,
person
because they
like
went
that.
for loads of drinks. They were going like every time they came.
Yeah.
He'd get them the gigs as well, like find places for them. He did a lot for them, and they'd speak. They were like social media and all the time. It's weird, man.
It's always affects people the most when it's been that fast like growth, not when it's been like a slow like slog and stuff. It's always when it's like a quick one, like working out whether I should like
go on this tangent and story.
I don't, it don't matter.
We can call them subject A.
yeah
Tim for short.
Well, I used to work like festival stages, like big festival stages, and I did some of the ones like 2Q Festival in Derby.
Know it.
Ran by amazing lads, and some amazing bands that are still like really sound and stuff, like Idols. We had Idols on at
great band. Seen them at the Maze. That was power.
Oh, I bet at the Maze.
Yeah.
Well, they were playing Vines in Derby, which is tiny, and I didn't have a clue about this band, and they were just like the soundest like people ever, and they still are from what the lads are saying that do these festival stages. But then, and then you've got bands like I did Why Not main stage. You got bands like Everything, Catfish and the Bottom Man. Catfish and the Bottom Man, mate.
Oh no! Oh no! What happened?
Wankers. Like, just and you can tell they are. To be fair,
yeah.
Because
sometimes it's reading a vibe in it, and you can catch them off on an off day, off performance. Fuck everything, fuck everyone.
That's
but
fair.
Then there's also an element of really reading a situation and really reading how somebody's being to the top and the bottom people. And you tell this story, and I think I've got something a similar vibe where I'm like, well, it's not right.
Just stuff like how I would compare it is Fun-Loving Criminals were on the same day. Fun-Loving Criminals, they're so basically how it like works on the big main stages is like normally the band manager and roadie will show up like an hour before or whatever. Or if it's the headliners, they'll show up in the morning, and you have to set everything up, check it, and then pack it back down, and then the band will finally show up. Fun-Loving Criminals like showed up straight away in a little tiny like little transit van. All their stuff just rammed in the back. It was like just some local band. It was not Fun-Loving Criminals who were like massive, and just their kind of like roadie guy was just absolutely sound. Thanked all of us. At the end of the festival, we found out that he'd sent an email through saying, "I want to thank you all again" and stuff. You got Catfish and Bottom Man who were kicking off because they couldn't have like their big like lighting rig up. They were playing at like about this time, and it's light outside, so you wouldn't be able to see it.
We forked out loads of money on that. Get it up.
The Hives kicking off because we wouldn't stack their amp like things in front of the stage so that they could jump off them.
Oh god!
You realise that when that falls over, you could die, and then we're stuck.
There's no more Why Not festival after that.
They're kicking off everything. With just their tour manager. Slating everybody.
I've not brought you into a trap, I swear to God. This is all you're doing.
I'm never supporting Catfish, everything, all the Hives. but I suppose the Hives have been doing it for a while, but Catfish and everything, they, shot up, and then it's just this attitude man. And stuff.
Just being able to like give appreciation to everyone around you, and something as beautiful as music, like. To put a downer and a damper on people who probably look up to you a lot of the time, it's not fair. Like I think my situation was very different, and I'm going off of somebody who's done 100 shows in that day.
Right.
Not that day, because that would be bloody hard. In that like period of time, doing Nottingham, but I was supporting, and it was a Carla, and I was really excited. But this is only expectation. And I was like, walk up at the end, and he's doing signings and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I won't go in there, but I'll wait to get to the top where you can sort of be with the bands because you performed. And I was like, oh, I feel good. So I went up to have a drink, and I really did just like go around and just say, hey man, like I supported you, like thank you, like not thank you for having me on, because obviously that was the event organizer got me on. But it's like, yeah, and I really liked what you were doing. And honestly, like, I've never just been blanked like that before. You went, cool. And just and quite physically turned around. And whatever day, whatever cool. But it was one of them moments where you just sink, because a lot of his lyrics have really inspired me. A lot of him has inspired me. And you do wish that upon the character to be switched on all the time. But then... you know, balance. I've got a lot of expectation in that, and there's been days where I'm down. It's just when I'm with people, because I've not been to that elite level, I will always try my absolute best when I'm working in a school, when I'm working anywhere I go, be the best side of yourself you can possibly be, because you don't know what you're doing for that person.
No, exactly. And some people manage to, like, you know, Dave Grohl is known as like the nicest guy in like rock and roll.
You see it in his interviews and everything, just bantering.
He manages to be nice to everybody, so why can't like you? And
can we have that as a quote of the day? If Dave Grohl can do it, you can too.
I mean, to be fair, he does make a lot of money, and he's headlining Glastonbury and Wembley Stadium, so he's got something to be happy about.
But so have all the people we've mentioned now, thinking of it.
Exactly, they're all playing.
You've got to the top. You know, you're an aspiring artist. You're going to places, wanting to build as an artist. Make them feel good, because they've had to be at the bottom at some stage.
Exactly,
they've had to be there too, and it's so simple to say, but it gets a lot lost. It does.
It's like they just forget, and it's like they were kind of
just been born there.
Like you weren't. Nobody
oh
was.
yeah, look at us, millions of people. We did good.
Exactly.
No hustle, baby. So talking of festivals, you run a festival.
Oh man.
I didn't know if to remind you of that. You're like, oh god, I best get right in.
That's frustrating. Another thing that was like dropped, but
when was it scheduled for?
It was scheduled for September the 7th, I think, something like that. So it was annoying because it was September, so it was quite far away, and it still is quite far away, but we were just stuck in limbo. We were like, do we keep it on because potentially it might happen?
You don't want
a
month to be organising something like that.
No, exactly, and I didn't want to like, which I had started like booking a few people then, but then I was like, if we book in like 15 venues and 150 acts.
I just can't imagine it. I can't imagine it, man.
Got to cancel all of them, like.
And it's a small organisers, isn't it? There's not many behind it.
It's literally just myself and a lad called Chris Barlow who started the festival off. Yeah, so it's 2 people.
Busy boys, man. So how does that come about? Like, you get on to this festival you're doing, and then B, like, in one of my rooms at home, I've got about 12 whiteboards. I have to have things in front of me. I've got phones and they're all organised, and my laptop now, because I've got that sporadic mind, as you may have seen, and I can't just have it in one place because I won't look or I'll do it wrong. But if it's all there, I'm just like, I know where I'm doing now.
See it, like,
I have to see it. But what's your mind like? What's your organising like? Because it's fascinating.
I'm quite like a control freak. Probably half of the like hosts of the DH Arts Festival will like say it as well. I have to do everything. Yeah. Because I just can't, like. Some people are great, and then you've got some people that will like wait until the day before to sort out their lineups. So I was like, I'll just do it all. And then at least I know that it gets done. It's the same thing as like being a solo musician as well. It's like, because I was in so many bands, and it's like when you show up to rehearsal and nobody's learnt the song except for you. And,
mate. Does that happen a lot? I've never been in a band, but
it's been like a few cover bands and stuff, and it was like
we supposed to be all in on it together.
Barely ever like playing at gigs because we show up to rehearsal and nobody know any of the songs.
He's drunk. He's on drugs.
What's the point? We just paid like 40 quid for the space
to have a chat in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like the music scene.
but saying that, I'm hopefully sorting the band out very soon, and it's got some very, very talented musicians in. Someone that you spoke to.
Oh,
so,
bro.
I'm looking forward to that, and I know they will learn the songs. But yeah. So that's why I kind of had to take control of it, and it ended up just 2 people. We have a host at each stage just to work the day and do the sound and stuff.
So important.
But, yeah. But the whole festival, actually, Chris Barlow started it.
Mm-hmm.
It was I hope I'm right here, but I believe it was just one day. It was just one day, actually half a day, I think, with just a few musicians at one stage. That was it. I think it was just a party because it was like good weather or something. But that's how they started.
How long ago was this?
I think last year was the 5th one. So this year will be the 6th one.
Been going a bit.
Yeah,
awesome.
And it just slowly growed every single year, like just adding stages and making it full day and having more acts and trying to get some bigger acts from further afield and stuff. And we'd do some things where maybe that didn't work. Like one year, Chris ordered a bus.
A bus?
He actually paid for a bus.
Mate, I would have been all over that guy.
I know.
Yeah.
You would have loved it.
I wish we knew each other then, or we did, but I didn't have the buses and that.
To actually do it. Yeah, he ordered a bus to go from, because we kind of stupidly had a couple of venues that were way out of Eastwood.
Sure.
And those didn't do it very well because people just stay in the centre, really, don't they?
Yeah.
But he had that to go back and forth, and it's a great idea. It's a nice idea. Get people to travel, and I think you just pay one ticket and you could just go up and down all day. But I think probably 4 people rode that whole bus all the way through.
When you come up with an idea like that, there's so much effort goes into it. It's bus drivers, can't get everybody on board.
I know.
Oh, bless, man! But you got to try these things.
Yeah,
and it is a nice idea.
Yeah, to know that at least you tried it. Maybe it didn't work, but
next year we get a moped.
Yeah.
Just an army of mopeders.
Order a pizza to go up to the top and just jump in his car and go. Yeah. So it's gone from one day to this 15 venue, 150 act festival.
Matey,
it's crazy.
I can't physically imagine. How many days would you say that takes in all to get around to all the artists that you've got to get in? Just booking the artists. Let's start with. I normally message the artists in 2 days. I just literally I hope nobody from work sees this, but I've got quite a chill job. Okay.
Actually,
don't worry, I can bleep that out. That's easy done. Quick edit.
But so I just sit messaging people on Facebook, and I know pretty much every
and you're being
musician.
productive at work as well. You're a guard, you're doing your thing, you're making sure it's being done, and then you're right, as well as and the D.H. Lawrence Festival is an important integral part of this.
It's literature,
where you can
D.H. Lawrence.
Exactly, that's what come to my heart. It's and you can promote it there, what you do. So
yeah, exactly.
You're a free man now, mate. I fought your corner here.
I'm not getting my job when I go back. Just sits making festivals.
I want 10% now.
But, so that literally takes me 2 days, but then it's them replying, and because some musicians are just a nightmare.
Would you send say 200 messages out?
Yeah. Well, basically, I put. When did I start it? I think it's when I started co-running the festival. We made a sign-up sheet.
Okay, yeah.
So it was
Bro.
The first year it got a few people sign up, so it's okay, these people have made the effort. Message them first and just make sure they still want to do it and get them a decent slot and stuff. And then the next year we got a few more, and then last year was when we got more people sign up than the slots. So then it's
and you do want to get everybody on, don't you?
Yeah.
You're just you've got to start juggling then, haven't you?
Yeah. But and the thing is, you've got to respect the musicians and the ones that have been doing it and helping you out and stuff.
Yeah.
but then also you've got to remember that you're putting a festival on that you want people to come to at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that...
Oh, I bet there's been some tears shed, blood shed.
I don't really care.
You got to be like that.
It's
It's an interesting conversation,
Yeah.
but starting it out all on new terms, doing a passion, just loving it, and then what we were saying earlier, when it slips into business and when it slips into like, oh yeah, we've got to monetize this passion, or I want this to be my living. Like, what can I do? Here's starting events, being a paid artist, whatever it is. There's a fine balance, and I do feel you're somebody that's really managed to keep hold of that. You're not tenacious to the point of being nasty to people, but I've definitely seen you be assertive enough to get stuff done, which is so important and integral in what you do.
You've got to. You can't you can't let people just walk all over you and what have you. You've got to kind of like stand up and say, I'm doing this for the greater good.
The greater good.
Greater good. But I'm doing this because I want to like progress this festival, and because everything, like, there's kind of a cycle to it, isn't there? Really, it's like if you book on a bit of a lineup that how do I say this nice?
People aren't gonna turn up to.
Yeah, people that there's multiple things, like there's people that have a following. So there's people that are good, but they don't have a following.
Yeah.
So you've got to think of people that have a following, people that are also good, because obviously 99% of the people that come to the festival in Eastwood are just Eastwood people that don't necessarily follow like local music. So they don't necessarily know who the people are anyway. So you've got to make sure that they're good to keep them there. So there's those things, and if you just put in people on that are not necessarily like...
I know your frustration in wording, because it is...
Cause you don't wanna...
We're in a creative field, and you got to sort of have a way about you that's not too ruthless to people, and you want everybody to be in on music, but I do love your realism as well. I love people talking... No, there's a point to get up to and look up to as an artist, and you do want a filter. You want to be able to say, these are really good artists, this is the level we want to get to as artists. And for everybody else who either is aspiring to get there, there's great open mics to be at, there's so many places to perform. Go work on your craft, get really good, and you'll be at these levels. You can get on them stages, but make your stages a stage to look at and go, wow, what a place to be.
Because the thing is, you put a shocking lineup on that nobody stays at that stage, they all go somewhere else. That pub, that venue or whatever, may not necessarily want to do it next year. And we've been trying to get sponsors as well. And with sponsors, you've got to make sure that something's good, because if you don't, they're not going to help you out next year.
Your stage is a product.
Yeah. So eventually, you just start putting on anyone because they're moaning or whatever.
Yeah.
Then the festival dwindles down. You end up like with one.
I've got so much respect for that.
So you got.
I love that level of honesty at the minute, and hearing somebody like you say, "This is what we want. This is what we're after, and this is what we've had to do." It's refreshing, man.
Yeah, because like you say, there's so many like open mics and stuff that you can go to, and I know a bunch of people that are like really respect that have only just kind of started out, like my mate Danny Small and Stephen
he's a great
Clegg.
artist. I've been listening into him.
He's a good lad, but he literally only started like, I don't know, like a year ago.
Wow.
Even playing guitar, like he was rapping and stuff, but he only started doing this like singer-songwriter thing like a year ago.
Glad he's got into it.
And he's got this attitude of like, look, it'd be great if I could play, but if not, I totally understand. And that's the attitude. And he still like starts his songs. And when I can see potential, like with Danny and like with my mate Stephen and what have you, I'll put them on like right at the start of the day, but then it gives them like that confidence.
The worst thing as well to do with them up and coming artists, or who could do on working on bits of their craft, the worst thing you could possibly do to them is lie to them or ghost them as well.
Definitely.
I've had it so much. Maybe at the start I wasn't great, and I'd try and act like be on the biggest stages and ask at London stages to be supporting the Rizzle Kicks or something. But you know, maybe not to that extreme, but I have been there, and you know, the promoters are like, yeah, we'll get back to you, yeah, whatever, cool. And then a month goes by and you say it again, and you're like, you never got back to me. Yeah, 100%, man, we're just doing stuff. And then the event goes by and you're like, oh, so you just never were going to get back to me. Why didn't you just say at the start, listen, man, we want this level, this is what we're going for, come back in a year's time when you've beaten on your craft and you've done your best, and let me see your new stuff, and we'll go from there. And it's just an easy discussion to have. Nobody wants to like offend anybody nowadays. No. Nobody wants to say something that could possibly hurt them, but people kind of at the minute need to be hurt a little bit.
Some people will take that badly, and then you're like, okay, you've taken that like the wrong way. You've not taken it constructively. I was like shocking when I first started. Flipping out, like when I first started, I was playing songs that were way out of my like range and whatever. Yeah, I'm still doing songs that were, but I was doing songs that just weren't in the right key. I was doing a just random assortment of like covers. I'd show up and do Oasis Madness and like, I don't know, London Grammar or something like that. Just something.
All nice songs that I'm hearing though. They're all ones I can bob to, but definitely. Like
I've not got the sound of like London Grammar or whatever. So, but but you've got to have that thing of like when you go off and someone says, "Oh yeah, I wasn't too sure about that." Not kicking off and going, "What do you mean? You obviously don't know what you're on about."
Straight to heart.
You've got to go.
Yeah, I've seen it so much. I've done it to somebody. I just said like, and even in the nicest way possible, but I think you could just sing down here or like try a different song, and straight away like the response back was just so frosty. Couldn't believe it. I was just like, honestly, man, like, because when they came off and said, "What do you think to that?" all they want you to say is brilliant, fantastic, and that's their only response. So why ask? Just imagine everyone in the room's going to say you're fantastic. Then
I've got this weird like British thing where I'm like, I just don't like people saying nice things to me when I get off. Like when people come up and they're like, "Oh, that was really great sound." Oh yeah, it was a bit crap actually.
I know the best conversations for me as an artist when I was coming up is just the honest ones. The honest ones I've had, and I've sat with somebody and said, okay, and I've really sat down and tried to understand where they're coming from. And there has been times where I have stuck up for myself because I thought it was necessary, because I'm like, no, that's integral to who I am as an artist. That's my part of my spiel or part of my stage presence is what I do.
Yeah.
So I like that part about me, but yeah, if you think it's this way, that's cool, but you can stand up for yourself too.
Definitely, yeah.
But then you've got to really reflect. You've got to really know if that person said something that could be looked at it's always an openness.
Always listen. At least.
Listen.
Definitely, people might be wrong, and there's been a few like occasions where I've it's normally people that they think they know what they're on about, but don't, and so they offer their opinion, and it's just something that doesn't kind of make any sense, but they're offering the 2 cents. You listen to them, but then also like actually like maybe I'll try. When I was bringing Who's the Girl out, it's like a 5.5 minute song, and everyone was not everyone, like actually just a few people were like, "Oh mate, you need to like shorten it down because
you what the radio want."
You won't go on the radio and stuff without it. And I was just like, stuff the radio.
Like, the song's doing everything it needs to do.
Yeah, like if I cut anything out of this,
that story,
then the story wouldn't make any sense, because there's a reason, there's a start, middle, and an end. And if you just cut out the middle for no reason, I've got nothing against. Like,
I'd love that. Like on the radio version,
just
you
makes
just
no sense.
Met this girl, she died.
Right. But like the radio is great and stuff, and all the fantastic stuff that like BBC introducing and what have you are doing. But I don't ever think a musician should like
horses for courses, man. Horses for courses. I wrote stuff with radio in mind when I had a few songs played on there. After a while, I was like, oh, that seems like a formula, and I'm happy to create for that. But I'll also create something purely for me. Like I've got poem on football, and it's like a 10-minute poem, and I would perform it as 10-minute poem, and I got it memorized, and there's no way I'd cut any fat off that, because it's like the stories. He gets the first pair of boots, and then later on, it's a metaphor for like passing down, and death comes up into it and stuff. It's my favourite poem. It's what the whole book's about.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had at the start like loads of really nice response, and I saw like when somebody cried or something like that happened, I was like, this is what I was feeling. I've given to somebody. We've had a moment. This is me. When people have gone, oh, it's too long. No, it's like, no, you've just not like enjoyed it, or that's your thing. But it doesn't mean I've got to go down that route. I've got to do what you want, because I have got songs or poems that are a minute or two. So it's horses for courses.
100%. And
knowing your audience.
If you've got bits that you can cut out easily from a song or a poem, why are they in there in the first place?
Yeah,
like, you might as well just get if you've just got this random pointless section that you
doesn't feed the art in any way.
Yeah, then get rid of
it.
But
yeah.
it should be
Honest
in their
discussions.
First place,
So we've got with the DH Lawrence Fest. I've imagined. That's fine. That's all I want these podcasts to be for. You've booked all these artists, and you've booked 150. Then, what sort of complications crop up into that sort of organising?
The biggest one for me is like people cancelling.
Yeah.
And
on the day as well.
Yeah.
Ben, I've just missed the bus in the bath.
You from about a week before, that's when they all start. You'll get some just before, and that's all sound. They're like, oh mate, I'm really sorry about I forgot I've got this or whatever, and that's cool because you can just fill it. Even like a week into it and stuff, you can still get people on, and it's fine on the day, mate. And things happen. Flipping hell, not last year's, but the year before, we did it on the same day as a massive bike ride. I don't know if it's like some tour or whatever or something, but we did it on the same day as that. And there was a bloke called Phil Ashmore, who's from Mansfield, extremely talented songwriter. And I had him on my stage, and he was just ringing me all day like, oh mate, I'm on my way, but I've had to turn around now because this bit's blocked.
Oh, bless him.
And then he'd go off, and then 20 minutes later, it was like, oh mate, I'm turning around because this bit's blocked now. And I was like, you just phoned me like, mate, shall I just turn around?
Happening.
Yeah, so, if there's genuine reason, that's totally cool. But you know for a fact that there's
a couple that have just winged.
Can't be bothered.
Woke up on a hangover. Hang on a minute, what am I doing today? Oh, it doesn't matter to me. Are they getting paid for these slots?
They get paid. It totally depends. So this so basically the only funding we the only funding we get is from the venues. They pay they pay the host of each stage, and then it depends. So like we say, the host is providing the PA. The host is doing the sound all day. Hopefully organising and keeping everything calm and stuff, and then performing themselves, because all the hosts are like performers. So we say you have the money. Yeah. Then if they decide
distribute it how you wish to.
Yeah,
awesome.
So it's kind of, at least we know then, because it's just so difficult to pay like 150 people in a house and all that sort of stuff. So it depends on the host. We totally,
You're
don't
really
mind
getting
if the host
into like
some money and stuff,
elements of politics then now. You're seeing the watered down effect and the socialist model and stuff. And one of them kept hold of it. Damn capitalism.
Flaming
Marxism.
Annoying bit is that like, me and Chris like do all of this, and then we end up walking away with like nothing.
Yeah, definitely been there before, man.
We get a lot of pints.
Too many times. So, what is more enjoyable for you? So holding up something like that, which is the DH Lawrence Festival, which is how many venues? Sorry.
15.
15 venues, 150 acts, but you put on an amazing day, and at the end of it, you're like, wow, like something's happened today. Or something like the songwriter sessions where it's more tangible. You've got 30, 40 people showing up, but it's a completely different experience. Do you have one that you lean towards?
God, that's... No. Because it's different things.
So different.
So like I'll walk out of I think it's different things because like I'm stressed until the end of all of them. So I'm stressed at the Insurance Festival because of how much goes into it and how many things are going off in my head and stuff. But I don't have to stress about people showing up because it's just rammed every single year.
Works itself out.
Yeah, so I don't have to worry about that. With like the songwriter sessions, because it's such a different vibe and people don't normally go to these sort of things, and because it's partly to do with education as well as like so it's not just a gig, it's like some people feel awkward asking questions and stuff as well, then so I kind of have to push the songwriter sessions, and luckily the last two have been sold out.
Electric.
But that's the different sort of parts where the stress comes from both of them, and then after them it's just a relief, and it's like, wow, that was great for different reasons. Like I just want to go out and get smashed after both of them. I'm always like on a high. After the one that you went to with Johnny, Sam and Matt and Ben on it, because that was the favourite one I've put on. Sam and Johnny and Ben, Matt, they were all just fantastic at that one. Like the vibe was just
I couldn't believe what I walked into. The intimacy, the honesty, the conversation, like the education. Is that what you wanted at the start? Is that literally like the archetypal? What happened that night was you going, yes, this is what I wanted to create.
That's what I said. That's what I said to all the artists and the bloke that runs the venue. I was like, that is what I had in mind from the start.
Yes.
I started the songwriter sessions like a year before that, maybe a bit longer. Did it at Nottingham Central Library, and it was great, and it was cool because it was in this weird place where half of the musicians hadn't even been, never mind played a gig in it. But it was just like we had to have it on the floor where everybody was also doing all the library stuff, which was weird. And
perfect. Yeah.
wasn't a proper like PA system, and
it's that NPR vibe though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is that NPR style. Like this isn't supposed to be happening, but it's an experience.
But it is. But
the glitches, the bits that go wrong, the interruptions. Somebody's walked in a really intense moment. It's perfect for what it is. I was watching an NPR yesterday, with Chance the Rapper.
I
love Chance the Rapper, man. And it was great because I think theirs is in a library. Or one of that session was, and he's started and he's done it was I think a George Michael song that he started with, that song, it ran in my head. Then I was like, I've got to replay that in my head now. And then halfway through he just throws in a poem, and he's getting to this really intimate moment, and he's started the poem, he's talked it up, he's done his preamble, the poem comes in and he's like doing a poem. And then this massive noise goes off, and he's like, and will the person on the third floor come down? But again, he rides it. It sounds great. Everyone laughs, and he goes, no more poetry. And then he goes back into it. But it's just different. It's just these people in the crowd like seem like they're musician people. They want that feeling, but it's just a vibe, and you had that on that night. It really felt it.
No, it's fantastic, and because it's like mainly musicians, the question bit, which is the bit that I've, before it was kind of like swaying where it was more like a gig, and some of the musicians were feeling a bit really self-conscious because it is weird to do. It's not like any other gig. People that have just been gigging forever, like Sam and Johnny and what have you, come off the stage and they were like, mate, I was shaking. Like, I didn't, and like Sam played Glastonbury Festival and what have you, and they're like shaking from playing this little gig. But it is really weird being up there and everybody listening to every single word that you're saying and stuff. It's fantastic to do it and have these musicians like ask questions at the end, and
there were some great questions being asked as well. There were all stuff I was like, I've never thought about that as an artist, or thinking of asking an artist that.
Yeah. It was
great audience for it.
It was a psychologist in that.
That helps.
She was asking all those questions.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, like we're going.
It nearly got into a bit of a debate at one stage. I thought there was something going on. Like, what do you think to this? He's like, no, I don't think that. And then she come back a bit, and I was like, yeah, Ben, you've got everything going on possible at this night. The beauty, and then I expected like chairs to start being thrown around. I thought we've got it all. So we'll go on. Just the last slide is the last slide of the PowerPoint today with Ben. I'd really like to talk on about you as your artist and what you got coming up next. Who did that artwork as well? Because that is bloody brilliant. Is that for the album, isn't it?
It's for the single, yeah.
The single. That's because you're talking about album singles.
Yeah. Well, like I say earlier, I used to teach. I used to teach at, I did my PGC at Derby Uni, and there was a girl there that was also doing. I don't know what she was planning to teach, but she did art as well. But I think she was teaching English. Can't remember, but she's fantastic artist. And
did you throw the idea at her, or did she just fully come up with?
So I kind of tend to go like, look, this is what I'm thinking, but I'm not an artist. If you've got anything that's like that you think would fit it better, then, and I'd normally like send the song and like what the story is about, just in case. Sure. But she ended up saying like, no, actually that's a good idea. I'll use that. She did the artwork for Who's a Girl as well. So
it's good you found your artist.
Yeah. Well, I like it when things are kind of got a theme that they carry on, like Slate and Catfish earlier, but like their first singles and stuff, they had that theme, didn't they, of the black background and then like a white thing on it, whether it's the alligator or crocodile or whatever it is. Like, but so they did something right. But,
they're not all so bad. I learned a thing or two.
But, so I thought, right, I've got to keep her. Because eventually it will head to an album, I'm hoping. So I've got to keep her for the artwork, and she does such a fantastic job anyway. I like to support. A bit
like if you go something like really just beautiful, poetic, it's got a nice feel to it, and then you go over like to some trippy, mad stuff. It can be a bit, whoa, hang on a minute, I've just got onto this.
Yeah, it doesn't keep that theme. And
rhythm,
And then when you finally decide, like, oh, I want all those, because that's the point of singles, isn't it? Because eventually it'll, it's to promote an album or whatever.
Yeah.
You end up doing weird artwork for each of them, and then it doesn't match with what the final like product is. It might seem a bit, I don't know.
I totally get where you're coming from there. Yeah, I mean the artist for me, we'll go back to Mike Skinner because why wouldn't we? But he followed a recipe, didn't he, for a while?
The lighters.
Yeah, he's got the lighters, and even with how, like, it's a Mike Skinner track, don't you, instantly? Yeah. There was this, for the 5 albums that he was, I think by Sony or somebody, like, you've got to create these 5, and he got on and created them. But they've got a recipe to them, they've got, like, his print on it, and it all follows that recipe.
Yeah.
But later on, because he's done that, and he's got that backlog of everything, I don't know if you heard his new stuff, like, the bright, the light, the darker, the shadow and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's gone somewhere else, hasn't he? He's portraying that journey now.
Well, he's just done that song with
Tame Impala.
And that's weird. But it's
I
like it.
It's David Bowie style, isn't it? Where you've got you're just trying things out. You're trying things out and new and birthing stuff and constantly on this what do you like, a roller coaster really, and you want to try different things, but people go to your sound with Fat Freddy's Drop. For me, they have this sound, and it's just it can't be described. There really is, like, I typed them up because I couldn't describe them one time, and it angered me. I was like, they're sort of reggae, everything, and I typed them up, and they had like 15 genres, and I was like, well, that's what they are. But I fell in love with their first album, which is called Based on a True Story.
Right.
Beautiful, and I was really in it, and I listened to it all the time. Then album 2 came out, and it was completely different. And they didn't weed me off the other thing. No. They just went blop here, and I couldn't go on with it. It was electronic, something different. Yeah. And when I went to one of their gigs where I expected all the original stuff, which I love, they played all the otother stuff. Right. And I was like, oh no, like it wasn't for me, that set. No. Like, in honesty,
it's difficult, isn't it? Like because you don't want to, like, you want an artist, because it's, you know, it's their thing at the end of the day. You can't tell them what to do. If they want to do something different.
Definitely.
I think within an album, you need to keep a kind of theme.
Totally.
But maybe album to album they can.
It's like go elsewhere.
Arctic Monkeys, whatever people say, and blah blah blah. Yeah. That compared to whatever the new album was
Zombies,
called.
Isn't it? Or something. Maybe that song's on it. I know what you're saying now.
I can't get on with it at all. But the sound is completely.
It must be tricky as an artist. It really must, to be able to try new things, but then lose your audience in some aspects or whatever. It's gonna be.
Yeah, but then it might like be gaining an audience. Bring Me Horizon. Bring Me Horizon's like old, like flaming teenage girls screaming like thing, compared to their like basically wanting to be Linkin Park like new thing where it's all like pop and, you know, processed beats and stuff on it. It's completely different. But now they've managed to the headlining like All Points East Festival and playing high up on Leeds. They wouldn't be playing those slots, playing Chelsea Grin stuff like that. No, yeah, exactly.
So sorry, we were just getting on to where you are then as well, because I intersected with another. I was like, and another point. But the album.
Yeah. So
the single.
The next things I've got coming out. I don't know when this is coming out, but 5th of June. So it might be.
Might have missed it, but people like, where can they find it though?
So on Spotify and all of those places, it'll be Ben Mark Smith. It's a song called 1 Year On.
1 Year On.
And it's basically kind of, I suppose it's like a follow on from Who's the Girl. It's like looking at 1 year on from that relationship, and it's kind of being positive, where it's saying the things that I or someone may have like achieved in that year, but still saying that.
So do you think you are building up to a concept album?
Talking about this girl all the way through. I think that's been done like plenty of times. Yeah. Lewis Capaldi did a concept album, if anything. But I think all the songs will be in a similar
alignment of that period of your life, maybe. Yeah, it's not all to do with this girl, but
it'll be, because I've got a song called Festivals, which is about small festivals.
Has that been out?
It was. So I recorded.
I've listened to you do something on Fat, and it was awesome. Oh, really good. Yeah.
I did an album with Mount Street Studio. An EP with Mount Street Studios when they first started, and I had Adam Illingworth. Yeah. He did the artwork for it. It was really cool. But yeah, so I had that out for a bit. The sound just like isn't what I'm kind of going for now, and I want it to be like all those songs to be full band as well. So I've taken it down. Still like really cool stuff that I did with those guys, but and those songs will be out again eventually. But yeah, that song Festivals is about festivals. It's got nothing to do with that girl.
That's all you need.
But it's about like this same
the good
period
life.
Of time. So yeah. It'll probably that'll be the theme of it.
I need it in my life at the minute, because I've really miss them festival days. All we needed was one May this year for me. I was gonna be so happy.
I was looking forward to it. The lineup as well was like,
it was epic, wasn't it? Yeah, I got
George Gadd on it. I had Johnny Ollie on it.
Good people on. Everybody on board is just. Yeah. one of them things where you just turn up to, and everybody you see, you just want to go and hug, high five, and have a chat with, and they're like, "Oh, I'm just nipping up and doing a set. Come and join." Like, they're just the best people, and that's the Nottingham scene in it, through and through. When is it quite recent for you? Because I was in the Nottingham scene when I first started. That was the Maze was my days, and the Unknown Era side of things. So I just kept running back and forth to there all the time, and had a nice feel to it. But I've seen you really jump on it pretty soon.
I think it's not actually been that long, even though it might seem it. I don't know, but it's probably only been I don't know. Since I kind of started taking it a bit serious was only 3 years maybe. I started just doing the Roots acoustic nights. That's how I met Chris Barlow, and that was just at a pub in Heanor and a pub in Eastwood. And I was just doing that, and I don't remember how I got into the Nottingham thing. I think
you're just glad you got there.
started doing it,
totally,
and just really got into songwriting, and really getting into playing as best I can and stuff, and that's where it came from. So whereas it may seem to a few people that I've been doing it for as long as some of the OGs George Gannon, what have you. I've only actually been doing it for
again when you find your tribe, you've found it, haven't you? You're truly in on it, and I think you have, man. It's when I see you all on a night out together, you've got your peoples, and it's just such an enjoyable thing to be a part of. It's truly beautiful, dude. Mate, thank you so much. I think people know where to find you, don't they? Mark Smith on all platforms. Spotify, I could list them all off, but there's a lot of platforms Facebook, you're on, man.
all of that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Mate, I'm keeping up with your journey. I'd love you to come back on here. Definitely. I'd love to, we put on events and help each other out in any way what possible. I think you're a great guy. Guys, thank you for being a part of this. The Back of the Bus sessions on the Old Farm Bus. I love these podcasts. Brand new to me. I'm keep on trying it out. Keep on having amazing guests that just bring great conversation. Thank you for being here, brother.
Thank you, man.
Peace out, baby.